In this week's episode of Clearing the Air, we're going to have our follow-up conversation with the mayor of Lewiston, and we're going to get into some of the other benefits, what it means to the community and the state overall. I'm Thorne Dickinson. This show allows me to talk with Mainers working on the most important clean energy project to ever come to our state. We discuss how this project is providing jobs and other benefits today while creating clean energy for a better tomorrow.
I've been a long-time elected official here in the city. I first started as a city councilor, did multiple terms, but I've given about a decade of time to the city of Lewiston. I'm also a former law enforcement officer. Started my career in Franklin County as a Farmington police officer, and then I ended my career as a lieutenant with the Rumford Police Department. So it's kind of interesting that I'm here in support of this overall project, because as a Farmington resident, I'm quite familiar with Franklin County and northern Franklin County, because as well as Farmington, I served with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. So beautiful land up there, beautiful country, but definitely working woods.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, are there things that you see as having a kind of that law enforcement background that as you've moved into kind of more the political realm that are tools that you then use there?
When I started my service to the community, it was just a much different political landscape than it is today. You could notice that, the ability to have just common sense discourse and respectful discourse with folks. At the national level, you could kind of see that permeating where that almost was becoming impossible. And then you saw it kind of get into the state level, and then now we see it at all levels of government, that differences are looked upon as like enemies versus just being neighbors and trying to work through issues.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We saw that really with this project, because when we first started reaching out to people about it in 2017, we had a lot of really good conversations in the towns. We essentially had support from all the towns along the corridor. But, I don't want to just say it's one thing, but the NECEC and the fossil fuel generation came in and really created a much more hostile environment, and you saw that polarity exist, which is too bad, because there's so many parts of this project, like the education side, the broadband, the electric vehicles, all those things I think could even have been better if we could have had a better engagement. And I'm hoping once we're past the vote in November that we have that ability to return to that, and the project can work with the communities that we have to really invest in those communities, not just to build a transmission line.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And so as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the days when Jimmy Carter was president. We knew then climate change was happening, and that if we didn't start focusing on climate change, that basically we'd be in the position that we're in today, where we're trying to play catch up with climate change. And the opportunities that this project provides us with green energy to the entire region, New England region, it surprises me as an elected official that more community members aren't standing up saying we need more of these type projects. And I get the fact that there is a small strip of land, considering the overall project, that's going to be new power lines. I get that, but like I've said before, I've been in those woods before. They are working forest up there. They get cut every 20 years and replanted on a regular basis. The impact of this project will be minimal to the state. I mean, Maine's 90% covered by trees. So to have a strip of land 50 so miles long being new development, it really will not have an impact on our state.
Yeah, and then through the regulatory process, the changes that we made to improve that part of the corridor were pretty immense. And even like you said, we're just over 1,000 acres of impact on the transmission line. And we're having to conserve 40,000 acres. So and the state's prioritized that. I'm extremely excited to eventually be able to talk about that when we announce it. But in addition, as you said, there's a massive amount of woods that are there, and every year Maine cuts about 400,000 acres. Right. So 1,500 within that context. But I think it is that difficulty to have those conversations. I have been, the The environmental community is a little split on the project, but the Conservation Law Foundation, the Acadia Center, Union of Concerned Scientists, and then a growing group of people that are really worried about the climate change piece, that see how important this is to reduce that, are coming around to it. So we're gonna continue to focus on that. In the end, even for people that don't see climate change as a high priority, there's all the other benefits that come with the projects. You know, when I step back and look at where Lewiston is located and the beautiful river that's here and the two kind of sister communities in this whole region, and you think about how close it is to the rest of the state, and my expectation that transportation is just going to get easier and cleaner. So the idea that you're 40 minutes away from Portland, I think, is going to evaporate, and all of a sudden people are going to be able to say, wait, I can live in this great community, it's got great schools and a real optimistic future. It's got to be exciting to both for what you've done and what you're looking forward to.
It is, because the world is getting smaller every single day, and what we're finding with the housing market in southern Maine, really kind of getting out of reach for most hard-working blue-collar folks. What they're doing is they're moving to Lewiston, where our housing is much less expensive. But we also provide the services of a large city. And again, arts, culture, restaurants, city services. So, you know, you mentioned all the things that are great in Lewiston. Our architecture is quite unique as well. So anyway, I think it's absolutely a place that people want to come to nowadays.